It's time to check your money with America's Money Maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Good morning, Vicki.
I'm surprised you're here to say good morning. And
I
this is the
know
day
that's
after your
right.
birthday?
I know that's right. Listen, little tempered this year because, I got that recovery thing going on from the knee replacement. So I didn't go all out
Okay.
as I
All
would
right.
normally do. So a little bit subdued this year
Okay. All right.
because next year will be another milestone. So I'm
Oh, that's why we'll be getting all new parts this year, because next year is another milestone.
yeah.
All right. Now all the pieces are starting to fit together.
That's right. And they're all in my leg too. But anyway,
Gee, that's a terrible joke, George.
We're making progress, Vicki. We are making progress. So I don't know what a full recovery looks like, but I think we're close. I go to see my doctor this week. So
Okay.
we'll know where we are and where we stand.
Well, you know what? Maybe next week or the week after, we should talk about not necessarily the procedure, because that's all grimy and grungy and stuff that I don't want to hear about. But what it's like to actually go through the financial struggles or financial issues going into a hospital, because there are lots of things and decisions that have to be made when you are semi disabled because you can't work following a hospital procedure.
Sure, and so just to put it on the table, I had total knee replacement surgery. So I don't know if I said that.
So want everybody to know what's going on. Total knee replacement surgery. Okay.
Yes.
So he can run around the track, okay, in better shape.
Yes, and like I said, it's been quite the journey. But you're right. There are lots of decisions that have to be made, and preparations that if you don't have, there's lots of decisions. So we'll talk about that next time.
We'll talk about it in the next week or two. But anyway, here's what I wanted to deal with today. And it is going back to, it's a subject that I think we only really talked about once when I went back to look through our notes. But I want to remind everyone that for those of you during the time period that we were in the midst of the early stages of the coronavirus and the COVID,
right,
we may remember that the economy fell basically off a cliff.
Correct.
I mean, we went from everything being fine to unemployment at almost 8 million people at one time. I mean, it just was crazy. And in order to help with some of the economic challenges that were going on, the federal government passed something that was called the CARES Act. Now, the CARES Act had many provisions, but there's one in particular that I want to focus on today, and that is the fact that during that time, a window was opened in your 401k plans, your 403b plans, and IRAs, things of that nature, to allow you to withdraw up to $100,000 from those plans in order to use that as an economic backstop for families. And during that time, when you got that money, you had some options that were actually very favorable as far as how those monies had to be repaid and what would happen as you repaid those funds. Well, the first thing is that the 59.5 pre-distribution penalty was waived. Remember, you always hear about that,
right.
Take money out of your 401k and withdraw it, not loan, withdraw it from the 401k or any of your qualified retirement plans, that you have this 10% excise penalty. Well, during the year of 2020, that was waived. Now, you still had to pay taxes, George.
Right.
You always have to pay taxes.
It's earned income, right? It's considered income, right?
Considered income. So those taxes were still levied at that point in time. But here was the kicker. Here was the most important thing. If you repaid those funds back into your account within 3 years, it could be all of it or a portion of it, the taxes that you paid would be refunded back to you.
Oh, nice.
So basically, you got a interest-free loan. because you had the money available to you for the last 3 years, and all monies that were repaid in that 3-year window would be the taxes associated with that would be returned to you.
Okay.
Here's the problem. Less than 1% of the population has repaid anything.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. And the time clock is ticking, because this window was opened up for 2020, basically around February, March, April, somewhere in that range. And the clock started ticking the day after you received the funds. So if you withdrew money, say in May of 2020, May of 2023, which is this year, your window is closing for receiving a tax refund of the taxes that you paid when you withdrew the funds. So what you need to do, first of all, is to sit down, look at what your actual withdrawal date was, and count out 3 years, to the day, because it's just a day, to find out if you still have any time left on repaying those funds, because it would be great to get those, first of all, get those funds back into your account and working again. And secondly, to get a tax refund for the distribution that you took, for the withdrawal that you took during that time frame. But once that window closes, it's done. So if you repay after the fact, you've missed that tax refund. So I'm encouraging everyone, if you have the liquidity, put those funds back. First of all, it's going to boost your retirement savings. It's going to help with your long-term retirement income plan, and you can get a pretty substantial tax refund for the taxes that were paid on the distribution, on the withdrawal at the time that you took it out back in 2020. Don't delay, though, that window in the time. When I say the clock is ticking, the clock is really ticking, because you want to make sure that we don't miss this window at all. Get with your accountant, because there are certain procedures that have to be followed as far as how to classify that in being returned on your tax return at the end of the year. Yes, George, you were about to ask me something.
No, I was just about to say, just to remind people that you're talking specifically about those who withdrew from a retirement account and used the money, had to pay taxes on that money that they withdrew, and you can get a refund on those taxes, but you have to, I'm just restating what you said, but you have to make sure that you look at the date you took it out to the day, 3 years to the day.
3 years to the day, okay, 3 years to the day. And after that, you're no longer eligible, okay, to receive that tax refund back. And I think it was like, I was looking at some numbers, it was like 6% of the investors in workplace retirement plans took out these special CRD loans or withdrawals back in 2020. And as I said before, that was roughly about 268,000 or so people took out those funds, and less than 1%. I wanted to be sure I was looking at it right. Less than 1% actually have repaid any of those funds. So now's the time. Absolutely now is the time. Well, George, again, a reminder, please like, subscribe, and share this with all of your friends, with all of your coworkers, especially yeah, go ahead.
Well, for you, let's just talk about sharing and subscribing. How about that?
Okay, fine. Just share and subscribe. Share and subscribe to be sure that this information is getting out to everyone who needs it. And for those of you who still are looking to receive a copy of the family financial workshop, you can do that by going to info@brackensfsn.com. That's info@brackensfsn.com. And George, at this point in time, I will say again, happy birthday.
Yay!
Our plate is full.
Gemini season. All right. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial member SIPC. She is America's money maven.